America, a country with some of the most brutal criminals in the world. And fighting back are some of the world's toughest cops. Yeah, he's round the back.
I had a shot in there.
It's a job where murder, drug wars and gun crime are part of everyday life.
Come here.
A job where doing your duty could cost you your life.
They're running, they're running, they're running! Run! We got one!
Now I'm joining some of these cops on the front line in the battle against the bad guys.
We got him.
Yeah.
This is New Orleans, the Big Easy. But there's nothing easy about being a cop in this place. He's running. We've got a runner. There, across the road. Stop. Come here! Get down! Yeah, he's round the back.
The police are fighting a war against ruthless drug-dealing gangs, and the city is awash with guns.
You know you shouldn't be having a gun at 16, eh?
New Orleans has the highest murder rate in the country, with a killing nearly every 2 days.
They noticed AK-47. That was one of the weapons used in the shooting.
In 2005, Hurricane Katrina blew into town, and the city descended into deadly lawlessness.
We gotta steal from each other so we can survive and feed our children.
It was almost apocalyptical. It was a free-for-all.
Now I'm going on the front line with the men and women that will stop at nothing to rid their city of violent crime.
Please, come on!
New Orleans, Louisiana, is nestled in the deep south at the mouth of the Mississippi. It's a beautiful city with a turbulent past. Uptown, the picturesque French Quarter pays homage to its original settlers. But just a few miles away, downtown tells a different story. Violent crime in the city is amongst the worst in the US, which has led to New Orleans being recently ranked as having the highest crime rate in the United States per head of population.
Somebody came and shot you all up in your head, huh?
The police face a lot of weapons, with some New Orleanians permitted to carry handguns in their cars and on their person. I'm here to roll with the NOPD Special Operations Unit. These guys are no ordinary cops. They deal with everything from tactical assaults to targeting the city's most violent criminals. VOWS, or the Violent Offenders Warrant Squad, are gathering for a briefing in the 6th District.
At this point, we're going to walk through the door, we're going to go out there, we're going to grab these guys and just make sure that you guys I don't want to end up with anybody getting hurt.
VOWS has been assigned 37 criminals to arrest wanted for drug dealing in the city.
1099 address, Troy, please.
Officer Fred Pfaff has served on the New Orleans streets for 15 years and with the warrant squad for 4.
All right, 10-4. Our main job responsibilities are locating wanted subjects, the warrants sent to us, and our task is to go out and try to locate that subject and put him in jail. The individuals that we're looking for now, they're drug dealers, so there's a possibility that these people can be armed. But yeah, we're at the location now. Hold on a second.
All right, the gate's locked in the back. I can't get through.
Fred and the unit approach the house and knock on the door. After a short while, they make contact and the lady answers.
He don't live here. I have no idea. He gave my address.
As the officers search the house for the suspect, they make a discovery.
You got something on you, baby?
I don't have nothing on me.
Put your hand on your back. Who flushed that coat?
What code?
Cocaine that's in the bathroom, baby.
I don't have no cocaine.
There's drugs in your bathroom. In your tub, okay?
I don't sell no drugs.
That shit in there too?
Yes.
I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
It's left to Officer Mike Hamilton to recover the submerged drugs which the suspects have attempted to flush down the toilet.
For the love of the job. That's suspected heroin. Roughly an ounce of raw heroin.
The Vals unit strike it lucky on their first warrant of the day, and they uncover $50,000 of raw uncut heroin and over $2,000 in cash. With neither of the subjects in the house willing to own up to the drugs, both are arrested and taken to jail. The Vals unit are on the front line of the crime war in New Orleans. Every day they are charged with bringing in the city's most wanted. From armed robbers and murderers to prison escapees and drug dealers.
Distribution of heroin.
They often face hardened criminals with a lot to lose, so a tough and uncompromising approach is always necessary.
Going to jail. The distribution of crack cocaine. Me?
As the day rolls on, Vals round up 30 wanted criminals and a large quantity of illegal narcotics.
Open the front door!
Successfully removing drugs and the drug dealers from the city streets. I'm joining Fred for my first patrol with Vals on the mean streets of New Orleans. What do you think about our boys? Our cops don't carry guns.
There's no way. There's no way that I would go out on the street without a gun.
You wouldn't?
Not here, absolutely not. They have criminals all over the country, but in this city, they're savages. They don't care about anything.
Our first warrant is for a man wanted for an assault on his girlfriend and criminal damage to property. But I want to earn my place in the patrol car and prove I'm not just here for the ride. In New Orleans in 2007, there were over 3,000 arrests made for domestic violence.
Can y'all push on this gate for me real quick?
With nobody answering at the front door, Fred tries to gain access to the backyard to see if there's any sign of life.
There it is.
Finally, after some determined police work, we get contact.
Come to the front of the house, it's the police.
Hey,
How's it going?
Morning. You have a shirt?
Yes, I have.
Hey, listen, dude.
Yes, sir.
Calm it down here.
Okay.
Take it down a notch.
I am. I'm surprised.
Your girlfriend, or whatever y'all was going on with y'all,
very surprised.
She put charges on you. We didn't do it.
Okay.
She did it, okay?
Well, that's a big mistake.
You have a warrant on you, okay? That's why we're here, all right?
As the suspect is led from the house, his aggressive nature becomes apparent, something the sergeant is quick to subdue.
This is embarrassing. We treat a man like a rat.
Like a what?
like a rat.
You're not being treated like a rat?
You treat your girlfriend.
I did not.
Okay? So
I
don't
did
come out here on the
not.
bullshit.
I would never hit anybody.
Did I say you hit her?
No.
You threatened her. Get your hand from the floor, man.
The guy come out, don't treat me like a rat. The sergeant just went, man, we'll put you in a fucking cage, we'll treat you like a rat.
It was my first case with Fred, and I was proud to have aided in the arrest of a wanted man.
When I opened that gate, it was like, I can't express the satisfaction. And when Fred said, wiggle the gate, I wiggled the gate and it opened up, and it just opened up the case.
Absolutely, you got that right.
So, we could be getting a taser gun or something by lunchtime, probably.
I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana with the Elite Special Operations Unit.
Good man.
When they're not serving warrants on some of the most wanted criminals in the city, they're on SWAT duty, knocking down doors and storming houses. It's my first time at Special Ops HQ, and I'm impressed. The ring in the corner is the unit's proving ground, something I'm going to experience later.
Yeah.
When I arrived, they were looking over surveillance footage of the target's house.
Perimeter team, you gotta take bolt cutters with you and get into that fence. Cut that fence and get to the rear.
Well, we won't know until we get there. But still, that shrub.
I'm told they're also looking for weapons used for multiple murders and armed robberies.
All right, just gonna have them hold on that, wait for the red team to make entry into the house, dominate the house, and wait for the car to move to the back.
Correct.
Because of the dangers involved in the raid, I'm told I won't be allowed to ride with the boys in the SWAT truck. Instead, I'll be rolling with Lieutenant Brian Lampard.
All right.
You're up 10 minutes, guys.
Your match will be Dal and Pig.
As we prepare to leave, I'll receive an update on the surveillance operation at the house.
Line up for perimeter team.
The homicide have just said to Brian that the guy is there. 6 foot odd. Got a pit bull and there's a woman with him as well. So the target is actually there, so this could be really exciting.
Let's go, Pops, up.
Because of the high risk of the weapons being used, the SWAT team needs to hit the house in numbers. On this raid, nearly 40 police officers are involved.
Let's go, roll out.
Bearcat to cat team, make sure you get up, help me get in.
Make sure you stop there, make sure we're all tight.
What's the dangers here now, Brian?
Well, like we discussed in the briefing, this guy's wanted for murder.
Yeah.
He obviously has violence in his past. Depending on how bad he wants to stand his ground, he's got the potential to be a violent encounter for us.
I don't know how they feel. I got the adrenaline going. It's good.
Get blocks away.
There's the house there. Pretty red brick. They're all going up the side of the house. SWAT raids are fraught with danger. With a high possibility of a shooting of a suspect or officer, I'm happy not to be first through the door on this one. They're bashing the front door in. They're going in now. They're all in there now. Everybody's inside. There's a lot of shouting and screaming. It was tense in the car as we waited outside for an update from the SWAT team.
Are you holding the target?
Negative, one female.
Here comes a woman. There's a lady come out.
Red team to blue team. Red team leader, we're making a move upstairs. Corey, get the intel.
With no sign of the target, I'm allowed to move forward towards the house. It was really quick. I mean, they literally was here, up the side, round the back, through the front door. Really effective, really, really good. They've got one woman in there, so whether the guy got out or what, I don't know. But the trouble is, when they're coming in, they've got so many of these kids on corners with cell phones, I think they get tipped off. That's the battle. These guys, they've got lookouts on the corners on the cell phones. So whether he's out or gone, the car's still here. She's over there still screaming and shouting, so we'll have to wait and see. With the house now safe, I went in to see what the team are up against. Stinks of dogs. There's 2 more dogs in there. One come out. There's a pit bull around the side. Officer Chad Gagnon was first through the door.
You never know what you're gonna get. I mean, the warrant is a homicide warrant, so you're going after a guy who's already committed a homicide. His potential for violence is very high. You never want to see those days where one of us don't come out of the house.
Even though the target wasn't in the house, the SWAT team recovered a weapon used in a double murder. The gun will eventually be destroyed, along with the estimated 2,300 firearms the NOPD recover every year. I'm impressed watching the unit in action. These guys know what they're doing and are clearly very good at it. I'm disappointed not to have gone through the door with the team, but they've told me I can prove my worth to the unit in an initiation test that they have planned. My reputation precedes me as a bit of a hard man, so they've told me I need to face one of their tough guys in the ring. To them, I'm Hollywood, but they don't know I've recently spent 6 weeks in a gym training for my last movie.
Oi, I'm the only traveller who's won 6 years in a row.
I done the Strength and Honor movie with Michael Madsen, and I was in the gym for 6 weeks and really got into it, and you realise how hard it is. I'm ready to fight, but then Jeff, the unit's prize fighter, steps through the door. Jeff? How you doing, man?
Yeah, bro, it's good to meet you.
Hey, Vinnie. Hopefully he's got an extra thick head guard for me.
Absolutely.
And he takes it easy on me.
Nah.
Because we got to work tonight. And this has become precious now, so... What are you, 220, Jeff? 230?
Weight?
Yeah.
265.
265, there you go. And I've just lost about 12 pounds. As I'm giving up a weight advantage, I'm going to have to draw upon my speed and nimble footwork to get through this fight. Whether that will last for 2 rounds is doubtful.
I'm sparring for the honor of the SWAT team.
Fighting for Britain. Flying the flag for Britain.
Never.
We'll see. As long as you don't put me on my arse, I'll be fine. If he does, I'll kick him in the bollocks anyway.
I'm aware of this. In case he throws a low shot, I'll still be able to have some kids.
This is my chance to prove myself in front of the boys, and they've all turned out in force to see Jeff take me down.
I don't know. This is going to be a close one. I don't know how the man can do it, but the young buck can hit hard. I know that.
I started well, managing to get a few good jabs in. But then my fitness started to tell. The legs couldn't keep up with the heart and Jeff got through my guard.
You good?
He caught me with a leg wobbler right on the chin, but I managed to stay on my feet to hear the bell.
Good round.
Don't tell Vinnie now, but if he beats Roach, we're gonna book him. He's going to jail.
Fucking out of shape, dude, I tell you. You've got to eat on his fucking moves.
I have to admit, Vinnie's fighting a better fight than what I expect. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I got some grab in.
I came out fighting in the second and gave it me all. I'd given it my best shot. I was just happy not to be lying flat out on my back in front of the boys.
Just saying, I'm coming in a bit low there. He was waiting for me to throw it, but caught me one where, ooh.
I'd have to take the first round because I caught him with that hook. Vinnie's gonna have to take the second round because he put a few punches together on me I couldn't defend. So we'll definitely call it a split decision. You know, he might have threw the fight because he didn't want to go to jail. Yeah,
I might not have won, but I earned their respect and a place alongside them for the notoriously eventful night shift. But the dangers for the unit in New Orleans today pale in comparison to what they faced in 2005. That summer, New Orleans was hit by a storm greater than any before. Hurricane Katrina gained pace over the Caribbean Sea before unleashing all its fury on the Big Easy. The sea level rose until the levees couldn't take it anymore.
These streets look like rivers and canals.
Almost immediately, more than 3/4 of New Orleans was under 5 feet of water, and 70% of the city's police officers became homeless.
I'm lost. That's all I had. That's all I had.
Jason Samuels was one of many NOPD officers that stayed in the city to help its citizens.
It was almost apocalyptical. Probably 85% of the city was underwater, at least 3 to 4 feet, which you had families stuck that needed rescuing. And then the other 15% that was out of water, you had millions of people heading that way to basically steal what they wanted, what they needed, or just try to find safety.
They said send everybody to the Superdome. That was horrific. There was murder, there was suicide, conditions, and it was so horrible that I had to get out.
More than half of the city fled, but with New Orleans in its hour of need, Jason knew he had to stay. He regrouped with the rest of the unit in a nearby school.
I mean, you basically learned a survival mentality. We went and found stores that maybe weren't flooded where we were able to get socks and some type of food stuff, canned food and everything, to where we were able to sustain ourselves until help arrived.
Jason and the Special Operations Unit patrolled the city with the army, rescuing those in need and recovering the bodies of some of the estimated 2,000 people that died.
Local law enforcement is awesome. They're routinely running through about every 10 minutes. So.
Amazingly, Jason did all this with an open gunshot wound in his leg. Just over a month before Katrina hit, he was involved in a shootout with a fleeing criminal whilst on duty in the city.
The gunshot wound in my groin area had never closed, so I was constantly bleeding. My left leg swelled up to probably 2 to 3 times its normal size. The pain was such that I would crawl to where my boots were or whatever and get dressed. And I just put on my gear and went to work.
Even now, the city is still recovering, but the heroics of Jason and his fellow NOPD officers will always be remembered.
As far as American police, I don't think there's any other unit that's been through what we've been through. It was akin to guys going overseas to war together.
Without a doubt, the Special Ops Unit excelled in the city's time of need, and listening to the heroics of Jason makes me proud to be serving alongside them. But as I was about to find out, when night falls, the challenge of being a cop in New Orleans becomes even greater. I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana, a city blighted by drugs and illegal firearms. I've seen the Special Operations Unit in action looking for weapons. They're going in now. And arresting drug dealers. But the frontline policing is done by TAC patrols, who roam the city's toughest neighbourhoods, tackling crime as it happens.
That's not mine. Don't be playing no games. I ain't playing no games.
Officer Christian Frick is heading to one of the city's most crime-ridden neighbourhoods.
Tonight we're in the 5th District, and we're going to look for some no drug hotspots. We'll see what we could shake up in the neighborhood, and hopefully we can get a few of these troublemakers off the street.
The night is still young when Frick gets a call to assist other officers on the scene of a triple shooting.
Yeah, this is actually going to be the scene right here on the left with all the news cameras.
What's the script, Unity? What's the script? Black man on shoot.
On the scene, Frick discovers that 3 men in a 4x4 drove past and sprayed everyone on the pavement with an AK-47. One of the victims is a 16-year-old boy.
The crime actually happened right here by the car where all the cones are. From there, once the shots rang out, the victims probably ran over to this tire shop, at which point they were hit, and unfortunately one's down, and he's been pronounced dead on the scene.
Away from the murder scene, the chase for the killers continues. Officer Frick gets information that the car used has been abandoned nearby after a brief chase.
All 3 subjects bailed out of the vehicle, and fortunately for the police, they left the AK-47 inside the vehicle.
Officers caught 2 of the perpetrators as they ran from the car, but one still remains at large. As Christian returns to the car, he gets a call that the remaining wanted man has been spotted.
St. Maurice and Urquhart. You want to cross St. Maurice?
St. Marie and Urquhart, come on. We got a guy fitting the script of this 34S of the shooting. He just ran across the street here. He's gonna bunker down now. We got this perimeter set fairly quick over here. And we're gonna stop right here. This is gonna be our corner. We're gonna get out on this corner here. Set up this perimeter.
As the killer darts through the gardens, the units in the area quickly cordon off the block that he has last seen him.
We're going to have a solid perimeter on this guy now. The subject crossed one street, now he's going to be in this street here.
The K9 unit arrives and searches the area, but unfortunately it fails to pick up on the perpetrator's scent. The search is hampered by the number of empty houses left over from Hurricane Katrina that act as good hideaways.
They could go anywhere in these abandoned houses. And on that last block, there was only 2 houses that people were actually living in.
After looking for over an hour, the search is eventually called off. With 2 suspects in custody, getting the name of the third won't be difficult.
What you doing, bro?
However, for Christian not to find the suspect is still frustrating.
It's aggravating. I mean, we've been out here for an hour. You got numerous officers out here concentrating on this area, and we can't do anything about it. Rounds, 30 rounds.
Clearly, when the sun goes down, the criminals come out to play, and the job of the police becomes even more difficult. The following night, I hit the streets with Officer John Barbetti, who has survived many close encounters.
Much controlled, but, you know, there's murders every day.
Your first gunfight, how did that come around?
It was interesting. We had an informant working with us, and they said there was going to be a deal going down, and we were going to try to jump it around, and it ended up turning into a gunfight right then and there.
What, he jumped out with the gun?
Yeah, 2 passengers and the driver all had guns.
How long ago was that?
That was in 2001.
You've had a few more since then, have you?
Yes.
I'm slightly worried I might be going on patrol with a bullet magnet, but thankfully we're hitting the ghetto in numbers.
You got anybody with you?
We're travelling in a special tactical group known as the Wolf Pack, a gang of cars that stick together to flood a particularly difficult area.
All we do is mostly proactive kind of work. Try to stop it before it happens or while it's happening. This is the 9th Ward area. A lot of chasing, a lot of weapons violations, and heavy into narcotics. He's gonna stop this guy right here. Check him out. We kind of watch his hands, see what kind of movement he does.
Check this car real quick.
I'm learning that working as a street cop requires a different set of skills.
Did we make you nervous? You all right? You sure? Your heart's going 100 miles an hour.
The tactical units act on instinct, identifying who to stop.
Stand right next to the lady.
Seeing Barbetti in action, I'm picking up how the Wolf Pack operates. Then a call comes through on the radio of another unit needing assistance.
Bring you guys over here to the 4,000 block.
On the scene, a young suspect is in custody, and then I notice why.
Fuck. He had that gun?
What you carrying a pistol for, bro?
Officer Wagger's pack was first on the scene, so I asked him what happened.
We saw the subject emerge from the corner on the bicycle. He hopped off the bicycle, started fleeing on foot, digging in his pocket like this, believing he was concealing a weapon, concealing a firearm. We hopped out, we started ordering him to stop. He continued running. As he got about up into this area right here, he removed the firearm from his pocket, tossed it onto the concrete here. Officer Boudreaux tased him, and he was quickly subdued.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
16.
I probably get like...
Unbelievably, the suspect cycling around with a loaded gun isn't even old enough to watch one of my films at the cinema.
16 years old.
As the case unravels, the armed cyclist provides a novel excuse as to why he's carrying a gun.
He said he chased a chicken under the house. Missed the chicken and found the gun and the bullets under a house while he was riding his bike.
As excuses go, this one ranks right up there. I went to speak to him to see if there were any holes in his story.
What happened with the gun? Where did you find the gun? Over there?
Not over here at the street.
What, was a chicken under the house?
I was chasing a chicken.
Why were you chasing a chicken?
I sell a chicken, get the money, buy my clothes and stuff.
You get $10 a chicken.
$10 a chicken? How many did you get in a day?
Huh?
How many did you get?
I ain't catching nothing. I found the gun. I was go sell it.
You quick enough to catch a chicken?
Yeah.
You sure? You know you shouldn't be having a gun at 16, eh?
I already know.
Why didn't you? You should have just stopped the policeman and just gave him the gun. So look, I just found this gun. Then you wouldn't be in no problems.
I wouldn't get no reward for that.
Look at your reward now then, huh? You know what I mean? You're gonna have this forever now, dude.
In order to stop the chicken chaser from fleeing, the officers deployed a taser device. This temporarily stuns the suspect with 50,000 volts of electricity.
Is that the first time you've been tasered?
First time I ever got in trouble like that.
Did that hurt?
Shaking like a chicken.
Yeah. Shaking like a chicken. Maybe we get $10 for you then.
Yeah, you made all these policemen come out here. Have a seat right there, man.
The kid's funny, but I doubt how honest he's being.
I know.
In New Orleans, even 16-year-olds are involved in serious crime.
He's not going anywhere.
I mean, a lot of the armed robberies and stuff like that, and even nowadays the murders, or the perpetrators are getting younger and younger. So who knows what he had on his mind, you know?
Watching the Wolfpack deal with the armed cyclist, it helped me understand the challenge these cops face, and rolling with John and the boys is starting to get me thinking more like a cop.
This you? From the Florida.
Jennings 9-9mm.
As the night wears on, we're coming up against more and more guns, and I start seeing what the cops are up against each time they step onto the streets.
2 guns, 2 stops, 2 guns.
It's an eye-opener to be riding with John and the Wolfpack, witnessing firsthand the dangerous job they do out here.
Looks like a Trans Am over at the light.
We received a call to respond to yet another stop and search when the unit ahead spots a suspicious car at the junction.
No turn right there.
Bar Betty tells him just in case he needs backup. Then a simple stop and search turns into a car chase.
He's running. We got a runner. We got a runner.
We're travelling at nearly 100 miles an hour on a dusty back road, but still the suspect's car ahead is leaving us in a cloud of dust.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're chasing a car right now. He's running from the police. Just gotta watch these intersections.
It's so dusty we can't see a lot. Up ahead, the criminal's car turns right, so John takes an earlier road to see if we can head him off.
We're paralleling him right now. See if we can cut him off.
As we wait for the car to emerge, the chasing unit radio, and they tell us that the wanted men have crashed and are now on foot.
Is he running, John?
Yeah, he's on foot. He's right out here someplace. Keep an eye on behind us.
Yeah.
5400 block. You're looking at 5400 block.
I was scouring the houses looking for a sign of the 2 criminals.
There, across the road.
Just ahead, I spot one of them run in front of us, and he heads into the bushes.
In there, huh?
Yeah, he cut across. He's on Royal. 2100, going back toward St. Claude. Stop, back up, go back! Come here! Get down! Get down! Get down!
With Barbetti in the bushes chasing the suspect, someone needs to get round the side and head him off.
Yeah, he's round the back.
We need to set up a perimeter. Somebody need to call out the name. What are they wearing?
You got him back there?
Thankfully, another unit was there to tackle him. Otherwise, I would have had to notch up my first takedown.
Go the other way, man. Go the other way.
What?
But there was still one fugitive at large.
I think there's another one. Is there another one? I saw the fucker run behind us into the bushes. Is there another one?
Yeah, it's gonna be one more. We got the driver so far.
K9's already been called, bro. K9's already been called. I'm gonna put him on this side, bro.
Yeah, y'all hold a corner right there. You can back it up. Right there.
Oof, that was the real stuff. John just said to me, keep an eye out behind. I look behind, I just see him run across the street behind us. When he was going so fast, any little kids, anything, you'd have just killed him in seconds. They got the one, yeah.
Yeah, we flushed it.
The one we saw coming.
I saw him. I couldn't get back to that fence fast enough. I got whaled in the face with a tree branch.
I just saw him out the corner of my eye, just running across
that
the
was
street.
a good one. I said, I looked back and I saw you. I was looking at it.
While we wait for the K9 unit, I go to where the car crashed to find out how the chase ended.
Here's the skid marks right back here, look. And there's the skid there. So they've gone through there, tried to rectify it. Lucky it never went through the house. I think there must have been a cop car here, so they've spun it in here. There's one of the hats there, so the other guy's saying he was in the passenger seat, but looking at this, it looks like he was the one we got's the driver.
They checking it. It's stolen. It's gonna be stolen.
You stole the car?
He stole the car. He picked me up.
K9 arrive on the scene and I direct them into the block where the remaining fugitive was last seen.
Yeah, John chased him across this street. This one came into here, the one they caught. So the other one might be in the other block.
Yeah, did y'all see him? You saw him come out?
We scour through gardens and search the abandoned houses, not knowing what we might uncover. My heart is in my mouth.
Yeah, they don't know whether he's got a gun or not. They didn't find a gun in the car. So that's why everywhere they look, they got the guns out first. Million places to hide.
After over an hour of meticulous searching, the K9 unit called it a day.
We went into every garden. Dog never picked up anything. Car's pretty smashed up, as you saw. That's nearly a write-off, I'd imagine.
But you did a good job spotting them.
Yeah, we spotted him all right, but just frustrating we never got the other one.
Yeah. But it was good eyesight and led to an apprehension.
Yeah.
Thank God we were close and there's one less criminal on the street.
But there's so many places in there to hide, man, I tell you.
I'm proud to have helped John and the Wolfpack get an arrest, but it's sad to see yet another young teenager in the hands of the law.
Yes, I do.
After the adrenaline of the chase wears off, I'm left feeling thankful that this time no weapons were drawn and that the boys can all head home tonight. I'm in New Orleans in the deep south of the United States. It's been a privilege to roll with one of the best units in the NOPD. Witnessing firsthand the challenges they face and helping them to apprehend the bad guys.
Yeah, he's round the back.
For my last night, I'm teamed up with Sergeant Dave Duplantier, a local New Orleanian who joined the police after growing up in the hood.
How long have you been in the force and why did you join, Duff?
I've been on a little over 18 years now, and I was always curious about police work, but I was always kind of on the other side. I wasn't a bad kid by any means, but you know, you do things that teenagers do, so. And we hung out a lot, so we got stopped and checked out a lot. You know, there used to be at least a code amongst criminals and that bad seed of the world, you know, where they would deal with each other, but they kind of left the elderly and the innocent out of it. Not anymore.
Even though Dave knows the ghetto better than most, he understands he can't take any situation lightly, and all the units must stick together.
Not everybody in these neighborhoods are bad, but you got that rough element in the neighborhood. And even those that aren't bad, they're gonna side with their blood, they're gonna side with their family. And we're not family. For instance, the neighborhood, see how many people will be out there, how many threats that are around us. It can become a pretty hostile situation.
But then they're the first ones to call you guys.
Yeah,
one on the inside, go. Inside. All right, you turn it right on. Yeah, you turn it right on B.
As we drive through the city, Dave receives an urgent call and the lights go on.
Talk to me, where you at?
What was that, bro?
They got a guy running on foot that bolted on him.
They got a little 75.
The worst call a cop can get is to hear a fellow officer is down or is struggling with a suspect because he knows to get away, he will have to use any means.
Right now they got a fight going on.
With some officers?
Yeah, they got some officers involved. You good? Everybody good?
When we arrive, the area is flooded with cops to control the situation, and 3 suspects have been apprehended. I'm told that as the officers went to apprehend the suspect, a gun was pulled.
Might be easy to get over.
And after a brief struggle, it was thrown into a nearby alleyway. The number of units is justified, as this street corner is at the centre of a gang war. The suspects arrested are most likely gang members, armed and ready to protect their turf. After checking the rear of the property, Dave makes an alarming discovery.
Poor man's version of a Benelli, huh?
The gang had hidden a laser-sighted semi-automatic machine gun in the back garden. A sign that gang wars in this city are the real deal. In New Orleans, because many lawful citizens are permitted to carry and own guns, they are often taken in robberies. In the US, it's estimated that nearly 500,000 are stolen every year. With 3 suspects in custody and 2 weapons recovered, including a machine gun, the night's work would seem a success.
I'm not in no beef. You violate me bad, man. You got me bad.
But the challenge of dealing with so many young people with guns is troubling.
The gun should calm down, all right? Look around, look at everybody right now in these cars and in handcuffs. Look at their faces. They're kids, they're children. And you see the hardware that they're carrying out there, the rifles, the guns.
That's the frightening thing, yeah. They got no, yeah, they pull the trigger. They don't know the consequences of what they're doing.
They don't. There's people out there, they're killing each other like crazy, you know. That's the world we live in, you know. That's just how it is right now. It's sad.
It's estimated that up to 50% of teenagers drop out of high school across the state, and many turn to crime to get by.
They look so innocent when you arrest them, don't they?
The only thing you can tell them is death or jail. And guess what? They don't care about either one. Jail is almost like graduating from college for kids out here. It's a pin on their shirt. So they don't care about that. They just go do their time, learn in jail, and come back out and keep doing it.
As we leave yet another scene where teenagers have been arrested and weapons recovered, I'm left thinking that the job of Dave and all the cops in New Orleans is one I couldn't deal with day to day.
Just like in one night, let alone, 1 week, the amount of guns that the lads are getting and the amount of guns they have to deal with and that threat, I just find phenomenal.
The gun situation is out of control. It really is. Well, I mean, I've been doing this 18 years, and I still sometimes ride around and I just, every now and then you just kind of get awestruck with the amount of weapons that you see on the street. This is just a city where young, old, everybody's carrying a gun. It's almost like the Wild, Wild West.
It's a hard-hitting final night on patrol with the Special Ops Unit. But with cops like Dave and the boys out here, New Orleans is certainly a better place. I've grown to appreciate the tough job they do, to understand it takes a special person to do this day in and day out.
So basically, that's our time now up in New Orleans with the SWAT boys and everybody, and I've got to say it's been really enjoyable. I found that the longer we've been here, the more they sort of bring you into the group, and what's come out of it for me is how tight they are and how they all rely on each other. The shocking side of it all, really, for me, is the amount of young kids, 16-year-olds walking about with a gun, full magazine, loaded, ready to go. Great learning curve and full of excitement, great adrenaline rushes on the car chase especially. You never know if someone's going to run out or anything, you're doing 100 mile an hour through these little streets. That was quite hairy. It's been a great experience, and and I think it's taught me to basically, for me, to respect the law a lot more.
Next time, I'm in Los Angeles, and I'll be rolling with the LAPD Special Gang Unit.
I have nothing at all.
Yeah, he's admitted that he's took it now, but he still won't tell him how much.
The most dangerous place on earth. We're way back up.
Could have been a bullet in the side of the head, America, a country with some of the most brutal criminals in the world. And fighting back are some of the world's toughest cops.
Yeah, he's round the back. I had a shot in there.
It's a job where murder, drug wars and gun crime are part of everyday life. A job where doing your duty could cost you your life.
They're running, they're running, they're running! We got one!
Now I'm joining some of these cops on the front line in the battle against the bad guys.
We got him.
Yeah.
This is New Orleans, the Big Easy. But there's nothing easy about being a cop in this place. He's running. We've got a runner. There, across the road. Stop. Come here! Get down!
Yeah, he's round the back.
The police are fighting a war against ruthless drug dealing gangs, and the city is awash with guns.
You know you shouldn't be having a gun at 16, though.
New Orleans has the highest murder rate in the country, with a killing nearly every 2 days.
They noticed AK-47. That was one of the weapons used in the shooting.
In 2005, Hurricane Katrina blew into town, and the city descended into deadly lawlessness.
We gotta steal from each other so we can survive and feed our children.
It was almost apocalyptical. It was a free-for-all.
Now I'm going on the front line with the men and women that will stop at nothing to rid their city of violent